My name is Victoria Shropshire. I teach writing and literature courses in the English department here at Elon University. And in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how I use blogs in my courses. One of the things that's really important about using digital media to enhance a course and engage students is that you need to make sure students are not overwhelmed or intimidated by the actual tech of what they're doing. Most of these platforms are very easy, they're very intuitive for students, but it's always helpful to have books. So for instance, under course documents and links, you'll see where I have a Moodle book that says using Moodle easier than you think. I have a book with their syllabus. I have a book entitled Blogging Lowdown, which basically walks them step by step through the things that I'm asking them to do. This takes some anxiety off of the students because they know that they don't have to memorize instructions for anything, that they're always there in Moodle, but it also helps free up my inbox from students with lots of questions that are tech related so that I can really focus on the content of the course and not the media through which the course is being transmitted to students. Another really important thing when you're using any outside blog or wiki or digital or social media link is that you create in Moodle an active link to that site. So for instance, the blog link here is very clearly delineated here, and even in parentheses, I've labeled it click here, so they know that when they click on that, it's actually going to take them out of the Elon server to a different website. And they can always bookmark that website on their personal computer or laptop, and I encourage them to do it. But even if they're not that tech savvy, they know it's always located in Moodle, that those shortcuts are always there. So I have an active link to both the blog and the wiki. And what I'm gonna show you now is the Hero blog link. So when a student clicks on the link in Moodle, it will open a new window and automatically take them to the blog space. This is hosted as a WordPress blog. And they can always bookmark this on their personal computer or laptop, but it should very clearly be connected to the course. Here at Elon, to set up a WordPress blog space, you need to contact TLT, which is Teaching and Learning Technologies on campus, and they will actually set this blog space up for you. So you don't really need to be super tech savvy. I am a click and drag girl. The only Java in my life comes from Starbucks. So you shouldn't feel anxious about using these blog spaces. And the more comfortable with them, the more comfortable you are with them, the more comfortable your students will be as well. In the very first post, again, labels are really important. So even though the WordPress will attach my username, V Shropshire, to it, I actually put in parentheses Shropshire, so they absolutely know. So even though it says down here that this was written by Victoria Shropshire, they are still very clear that these are instructions, that this is a post from their professor. So they scroll down, and this very first post is a very clear description of what the blog is, how you plan to use the blog in your course, what they're expected to do. And all of this language can be literally cut and pasted from the syllabus. I'll actually have a mix of students who have blogged before, they've had professors that have used WordPress before, but I don't assume that a student has ever blogged. And so I always want to make sure that, especially the first few days, that it's very clear what it is and how I'm going to use it and what it is I expect them to do with it. And I give them parameters, 200 to 250 words, and then they have to reply or post comments to at least 2 other students in the course every single 24-hour cycle or every single class meeting cycle. Over on the left-hand side, you'll see where it says categories, and under this, I've very clearly labeled things BP1, which is blog post 1, and I've actually put the date because they have until midnight on that day to complete that blog assignment. And again, this information is in the very first post, it's in the Blogging Lowdown Moodle book, and it's in their syllabus as well. And so they know that if they click on this space, they're going to see instructions from me that actually give them a prompt that they reply to. As with any online writing assignment, whether you're using social or digital media, the instructions need to be absolutely clear. It not only gets you the results and points students in the right direction, but it lowers their anxiety about completing these tasks as well if they don't feel that they're very tech savvy. An example of this in my 255 course is where on day 7, BP number 7, and obviously it's a Shrop post, so they know that even though it says by Victoria Shropshire, they know that this is my post. We had been discussing that day the idea of soldiers as heroes in different societies and cultures, and the language that goes around those definitions. This can be a touchy subject for some students, especially if they come from military families, as I did, or simply because of their political beliefs, and the fact that we are a country at war. I wanted to be a little sensitive about that, and so for this prompt, instead of just simply saying, this is what I want you to do and think about our class discussion and read this article or locate an article, I actually give a sample post in the instructions themselves. So I tell the students, if I were a student in this course, this is the kind of article I would find. And so I've posted here an abbreviated sample post, and I have located an article, which is the assignment. I have summarized the article, and then I've somehow connected it to the terminology and the language that we discussed as a class that day in lecture. And so I've given 2 different actual links here, which is exactly what I expect the students to do. I expect them to locate a news article about an action or a military personnel, any country, any circumstance. They must paraphrase the article and then tell about how it does or does not fit the parameters of the cultural discussion we've had in class. And then, of course, students who reply to this must read the article that the student has found, read their paraphrase, and then talk about whether or not they agree with it or whether or not they saw different meanings or made different connections between what we were discussing in class and the text or the article that the student originally located. The discussion that takes place in the blog space is far and above any peer review, any peer discussion, any Moodle forum that I've ever experienced, especially in the winter term because it's a very quick semester. And so there's all students who take a winter term course feel that time pressure. But the quality and the quantity of writing both increased immeasurably when I started using blogs on a daily basis in a winter term course.